I want to talk about first. I was 10 years old, and my dad flew the whole family. There's 10 of us, plus my grandparents, both sets, down to Florida. I was 10, like I said. And we went to a place called Fort Lauderdale. And you could hear a commotion about a block away. So my brother and I decided to go down and see what the heck was going on. And what it was a riot. The African Americans against the police, and I was in awe because I never seen that before. Now, I also got to say that I lived and grew up about 15 miles outside of Toronto, and I can remember when I saw my first black person, and it was a big deal. I phoned up my buddy that lived 3 houses down, told him what he didn't believe it either, so we went out. And we were kind of like following this guy behind trees. And what happened was, I grew up in an era where it was predominantly white. But when the Vietnam War came, many a draft dodger came to Canada. And you didn't recognize the whites because they blended in, but there was a lot of blacks. Um, and Toronto, at the time, shut down its main street for a week. You could stroll up and down and whatnot. And there were so many African Americans that they shut it down the year after. Now let's get in the present tense. Last night I watched a show on Netflix about the LA riots in 1992. And for a quick refresher, the riots were as a result of the verdict that came down over the Rodney King episode. And I was aghast that these people got off. But I watched a show, and this show was a video that I'd never seen before. Of course, I had video of the looters, which were predominantly blacks, some Hispanics, etc., immigrants. And but they also had video footage of the store owners, and they were mainly Koreans. I was flabbergasted as to what extreme the Korean owners of the businesses. Now, I gotta tell you, if I have an enemy, I would hurt that enemy where it counts. Why they loot their own area, why they set fires in their own area is beyond me. Later on last night, after that show about the riots, I watched a movie called American History X. Now, the riots were in 92. This movie was produced and made in 1998. But during part of the show, it made a false statement. It said that most of the owners of the stores were black. That wasn't true. They were mostly Koreans. But in all of this, the Hispanics, some of the Koreans were not citizens. I don't know why they don't get the citizenship, but they weren't. Now, I watch all the live cop shows. And I'll tell you, um, I do believe that the blacks in the United States and those Hispanic, etc., maybe even low income, get a raw deal in the States when they go to court. But when I watch these shows, for every five uh, suspects, three of them were black. Why? Some nights I'll watch a show half an hour, and every suspect will be an immigrant, a black. Why is that? I don't know. I really don't know. You'd think that some of the Black Lives Matter one now will kick up a stink um, to rebuke these cop shows, but if the cop shows being honest, there's a lot of crime being committed by the blacks. I don't know. Maybe somebody will reply to this video.